Welcome. We are exploring steps for Vedic mathematics referencer. Our today focus is upon volume 9, which is about the mathematical domain of Sutra 9 and Upsutra 8. Sutra 9 is Chalan Kalna Bhyam and Upsutra 8 is Antiyo Dashke Api. Here, in this context, we must have a focus upon the numbers 8, 9 and 10. And in this context, we shall also have a focus upon Sutra 1 Ekadhikeन Purven and Sutra 2 Nikhlim Navasta Charmam Dashata. At the center of this whole chase will be the Mool Ank basic numbers, which are 1 to 9, and TCB Mool Ank is 29, Vyanjan TCB is 29, Brahma TCB is 29. Brahma is the overlord of real 4 space, hypercube of 4, and we know that the geometries of 4 space are 9, while domain boundary ratio, boundary of 4 space is of 8 components, and here the geometries of 5 space, geometries of 5 space of 11, while the boundary of 5 space is of 10 components. In this context, it will be blissful to have a visit. Nikhlim means all, now means 9, all from 9, Charma means the lost, and this means the 10. See, all are only 9, and still the lost is the 10. Now, it is this feature which deserves to be seen, that if we have 10 points, then we will be having 9 gaps. Like that, we will be having 9 gaps. So points are 10 and gaps are 9. In this context, we see that when we are having numbers, say 1 to 9, then we say that 5 is of a middle placement. So 6, 7, 8 and 9. It will make 2 parts, 1 to 5, 2, 3, 3, 4 and 5 and this. The summation value here is 15, while the summation value here is 30. Therefore, this coverage will take us to 1 to 9 of value 45, and 9 to 5 back is value 30, which makes value 75, and we know that TCB of this sutra is 75. One may have a pause here and have a fresh visit to these features to have a comprehensive view, to have a clear idea as to the interrelationship, the coordination of the whole mathematical domain, starting from Sutra 1, which will take us up to Sutra 9, and in the organization of reach 1 to 8, which is of value 2 raised to power 3, and then its reversal is 3 raised to power 2. It will take us back from 9 to 16. See, summation value is going to be 17 here. So, the Chalna Kalna Bhyam, the letter Cha is of the second Varga line. This is the first Varga line. So Chalna Kalna Bhyam means we are going from second to the first. So this change is from value 2 back to value 1. So it is this decreasing feature which is to play its role. And we know that a square is having 2b raised to power 1. This is domain boundary ratio of hypercube 2. But while we are deriving, we will say, because we are starting from the middle, means we are in a 2 space, and in this 2 space we want to have a start. From wherever we will start, we will have a pair of orientations. Because of the pair of orientations, our beginning is to be from the middle only. As we can start only from the middle, because we can't reach the infinity on either side. So from wherever we start, it is always at a middle. It is this feature that we are at a middle. Then from middle, when we will be progressing, we can be either on this orientation or on this orientation. Therefore, it is only half of the interval which will be covered by this method. It is this half, that is why we get a derivative for a2 as a raised to power 1. Now, it is this feature which we have a derivation. This deserves to be appreciated, that this Chalna Kalna Bhyam is so oriented within a surface that it, wherever the point we take, it becomes the middle point, and at a time we can have only half coverage. The other half will always remain uncovered. It is this feature that it remains uncovered would mean that the domain boundary ratio a raised to power n is to 2n, say b raised to power n minus 1. This feature is of domain boundary ratio, but the derivative will take us to only n b raised to power n minus 1. That is only the half of the boundary is being covered. It is this feature which deserves to be comprehended well, as within a surface we can have a line and surface both. This surface, which is within a surface, is of different features than this outer surface. Here in the outer surface we are having corner points, we have the edges, and also we have the area. But however, as far as the internal surface is concerned, then each point of surface here is having an area. So point of the outer surface will be having a 0 space values as corner points, 1 space values as edges, and 2 space values as the domain part as surface. However, the inner surface will have only structures of an area. These features are responsible for that while we will be having a continuity, then we have only a single domain. But while we are at a derivative, we are having a pair of domains, means we have the area and we have the boundary. Therefore, the a raised to power n, and then when we have 2n, b raised to power n minus 1, means here are n degree and here is n minus 1 degree, and then n is half of the components of the 2n. So derivative is taking into consideration a pair of degrees, nth degree, so n space and n minus 1th degree both are playing their role, while in continuity it is only the nth space. Therefore, this is to get exhausted with the half steps only, while for continuity still there is another half zone available. So the situation will arise when the half boundary gets exhausted, another half boundary still remains. So continuity will be maintained, however derivability will get exhausted, will not be available. These all features are at work. These are being chased, and it is because of it that Vedic mathematics is not held up like the modern mathematics, because of the insistence upon the linear progression, which is well reflected in the definition of a continuity and the derivability. So the definition of a continuity and derivability is not giving distinctive, so the problem that everywhere continuous function has a situation of nowhere derivable setup. Therefore, why it is happening is a question which in itself becomes of equal importance. That non-happening is one thing, but why it is not happening is another thing, and this is being not decipherable in the modern axioms for the modern mathematics, which would mean that the insistence of the modern mathematics upon the linear progression is responsible for it, which has increased only up till 7. Why the hypercircles only 1 to 7 increase, while hypercircle 8 onwards it goes on increasing. Now hypercircles 1 to 7 increase and 8 onwards is a decrease, because if we are moving along a linear progression. However, when we are in a surface, when we have a spatial order, when we will be having a raised to power 4 is to 8 b raised to power 3. So it is here that the transcendence will be the 7 geometries range of 3 space and 8 boundary components of 4 space. So we will be reaching straight without any disruption. So from 7 geometries range to 8 boundary components, it is this continuity which is provided because of the spatial order. It is like this, all from 9 means there are 9 versions of hypercube 4, but still they lost, because between 4 space and 5 space there appears to be a gap. But when we are at a boundary, then here we are having 8 and here we are having 10 components. The geometries here are 9, so at the middle is the 9th version of the hypercube, means the state of hypercube where all its 8 boundary components have been stripped off. So it is this situation of the 4 space within a boundary, then 4 space without a boundary, and followed by a 5 space with a boundary. So this 9 and here is the 10. It is this feature which deserves to be comprehended well to have an appreciation of Nikhlim Navasta Charmam Dashyata as an emphasis with an incontinuity of Ekadhikein Purvain. Now, when we have a 9 basic number steps, then we have a bend back. It is because of it makes say 1.5, means we are between 1 and 2. It is here a position of 1.5. It is this state which is attained by the Vedic mathematics, and it is this technique, it is this feature of the Ganita Sutras which deserve to be comprehended to have an appreciation of the limitations of the linear progression based axioms of the modern setup vis-a-vis the spatial creative space sequential progression of the Ganita Sutras. So these features are that when we say we are having a basic elements mean 1 to 9, but when we designate the Moolank, it becomes 29, which means it is the Brahma, which means it is the presiding deity of a four space, which would mean that we are here talking of 9 versions of hypercube 5 or the 9 geometries of a four space. It is this feature of the numbers which take us to their geometric formats, and these geometric formats are going to be the versions of the geometric bodies. So hypercube 9 of 9 versions or the sequential formats for these 9 basic elements. It is here where when we will be at 5 space with a creative space, 4 space as a boundary, that means the boundary, the creative boundary of a 5 space is nothing but a 10 place value format. We can have a pause here and we can permit ourselves to be concentrative that the Vedic mathematics is approaching artifices of numbers upon the geometric formats. So every number is having its distinctive geometric format, and it is this distinctive format for the number value which in a way can be said to be the special feature of the mathematics. This feature of the mathematics as it is would mean that we have to do arithmetic upon the geometric format, and for it we will have an algebraic. So that is why when we will say 1 and when we say it is going to be a geometry, and when we say it takes us 1 to 1 cross 1 and then it takes us 1 cross 1 cross 1, that means these geometric formats as well are unfolding themselves. So one way an initial would mean that we will be approaching upon a line as numbers being just the length units, but we know that these very numbers will have inherent potentialities to transform as the area units. So it is shift from 1 to 1 cross 1 and further 1 cross 1 cross 1 to 1, which is of paramount importance, as it is here where is hidden the range of potentialities of the Ganita Sutras. So Ganita Sutras are having inherent potentiality of unfolding themselves sequentially, and it is this sequential unfolding of the Ganita Sutras which make them the potential mathematical domain, and so the claim that Ganita Sutras cover the entire range of mathematics. The question arises, what is mathematics? Mathematics will be which the brain will comprehend. What the brain will comprehend? Brain will comprehend whatever its interaction with the outside universe will bring in. So the outside universe is going to be a solar universe. So whatever is happening within solar universe will become the subject matter of comprehension of a brain and hence of the Vedic mathematics. So Ganita Sutras, as these are the sutras which take us to first letter is A, it is of TC value 6, it takes us to 6 space. So it is 6 space which is going to be covered by the Ganita Sutra 1. When we say A means 6, when we say Ka, it would mean Brahma 4, then it is O, it will be 2, then it is Dha, it will be 7. So see, it will be unfolding like this. See, 6, 4 plus 2, 12. It is a rishi, it is a seer. And when we are here 7, it becomes chandas. Start filtering, it is 19. It is this feature that which will bring us back again to a 6. But we know the synthesis of 6 and 6 is 8. And further we know that 8 is the TC value ek, which means a 1. So the ekadhikain purve will take us to 6, 4, 2, 7. So here the inversion, it will be unifying, it will make it 8 and 8 will make it 1. So it is ekadhikain purve. That is why the geometry, it is this line is called a rajju. It is riju. So it is a riju rekha. So the sthapatya miring rod will take us to the chakra, the boundary. So circumference and the domain have distinct features. As such, the sthapatya miring rod will take us to 6 space, Lord Vishnu as the presiding deity, 4 space of the Mayor, and the 5 space is going to be transcendent boundary, is space, and where the rajju will be, the rope will be, the thread will be available, and it will be of a nog, and nog we know is of TC value 14. This gives us an insight. It provides us an enlightenment that Vedic systems have successfully coordinated parallelly the alphabet letters and the number values. And number values are parallel to the geometric formats. So the geometric formats, the numbers values, the letters carry with a sound carries to a light. So this whole universe as it is organized, the whole universe as it is functional, the whole universe as it manifests itself, the whole universe as it rejuvenates itself, the whole universe as transcendence takes place from the manifested creations is a subject matter of coverage of the Ganita Sutras in terms of the Moolank, and these take us to the parallel spaces. So this is a number 1, then we have 1 space. When we have a 1 space body means a hypercube 1. When we are 2, will be a 2 space, it will be hypercube 2, it will be square hypercube 2. When we have 3, and like that we will reach up till 9. This being the feature, we are having a increase of the format of 1 space to 9 space, and then we can have a bend, we can come back to 5. So we can approach 1 to 5 and we can approach back 9 to 6. Now it is this approach which will successfully reduce our numerals 1 to 9 to 1 to 5 only. Therefore, the mathematics of arithmetic operations become simplified. With the arithmetic operations getting simplified, algebra gets simplified. With the algebra getting simplified, the geometric formats or geometries get simplified. With the geometric formats getting simplified, the flow gets simplified. When the flow gets simplified, then reach from sound to light on frequencies get simplified. Once the sound to light is simplified, then consciousness to light as well gets simplified. Once this process continues, then there happens to be a complete unification of the existence phenomenon within human frame as well as outside the human frame, as all what is happening within the universe and all what is happening within the body gets unified. And it is here where the Devanagari alphabet gets organized as per the format of a mouth. So Devanagari gets organized within a mouth. So from kant, throat to the lips, and the entire organization of Shiksha becomes the starting point, and it also becomes the end reach point. We have to begin with Devanagari, and we have to reach to the existence phenomenon within human frame. And from human frame, we can go to the universal, the solar universe. And this mathematics as such becomes a science, it becomes a technology, it becomes an existence phenomenon. As a result, our present day periodic table and our computer chips are going to be transformed, and we are sequentially in terms of this mathematics reaching at a biochip. So immediate result of Vedic mathematics, immediate fruit of the Vedic mathematicians is going to be a transition and a reach to a biochip, and then we are at the Brahmashtra, and then we are at the moksha, liberation. Thank you very much.